Thanks for joining us for One More Thing. I'm Pastor Brett Watson. This is Pastor Troy Doucet. We're talking about Sunday's second installment of artificial intelligence, which has been a killer series so far. I'm kind of sad that it's only going to be 3.
Me too.
Yeah, for real, because this has been so good. Our talks afterwards, in Suncoast in Depth have been just so good.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. Anyway, so the first week was you did a good job of showing the difference between artificial intelligence and authentic wisdom, right? The difference between intelligence and wisdom, knowledge and wisdom, rather.
Right.
But this week shifted focus to the perception of self, right? And I like the way that you identified the connections between the story in the garden and the story of Lazarus, the raising of Lazarus, the fig leaves and the
grave clothes,
the effort to cover self, and the grave clothes that covers.
I was worried about shameful. That. I was worried whether or not that would connect, man. So you telling me that? Makes me happy.
Yeah, that was a good connection. So we don't see ourselves the way we ought to, is the gist of it, right?
Right.
So tell us some more.
Yeah, I think the story of Adam and Eve, what I tried to frame for people's minds is, because what I don't want to do is necessarily how do I say correct people's thinking about it. If you want to believe it's a literal story, that's fine. But what I'm trying to do is say I think literalism takes away from the depth of its true essence.
Can I say something about that?
Go ahead.
This came up in the group, right? And most of the people in that group, they're not literalists,
right.
But the way that I've proposed this is, if you do believe that this literally took place in history to historical characters, people that actually existed, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just don't let that and defending that.
That's right.
Cause you to miss the wisdom.
That's it.
In the story otherwise.
That's right.
Because there's a lot to be said for that part of it, way more than what happened to other people back then, right?
That's right. And that's the thing. You want to help people go deeper than the literal, because I think the misconception is that if I take it literal, that's the depth.
No,
that's as deep as it goes. No. And I want to defend that. No, man, there is a depth to that ambiguity that is profound. You can read it in different seasons or different situations of your life, and you're going to get something absolute. You're going to identify at times with Adam. Sometimes you're going to identify with Eve. Sometimes you're going to identify. And that's the beauty of that. That's what I think is, if we call it divinely inspired, I think that's what true inspiration is that it has a universality to it in our particularity, right? So that's what the framing of Adam and Eve for the AI series was, to say something, not that it happened, but that it happens.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. That's perfect. That's a great way to put it. Not that it happened, but that it happens.
It happens.
It's our story.
That's it. And, in the beginning, that word, the Germans have a great understanding. So Nietzsche and Heidegger, Hegel have understood this for a long time. And in the beginning doesn't mean, the word arche means there's always a beginning at the end of another beginning, right?
Yes.
The beginning is always a start.
It identifies a cycle of beginnings.
That's it. And so that's what I say. It didn't happen. It happens. And that's what I was trying to help people understand, is that the story of Adam and Eve still happens today in ways that are singular and particular to us. And it's the moment when I reach for control that is autonomous, self-control, that is detached from community, which is where God is, right? God is here. Don't get me wrong. God is here, but he's also within others who can bring that sort of wisdom, not just about life, but about myself. And the moment I reach for that proverbial fruit to say, I'm in control. I'm strong, independent man, strong, independent woman. Bro, you've lost. You're on shaky ground. And everything about reality is going to become ruptured.
In a way, you're on the serpent's ground.
That's right. That's right. Because we talked about this in our collaboration, and I said, look, I'm going to just leave it out because it is a little bit too scholarly, I think. When it says the serpent was more clever, that word is arum. And then when God says, who told you were naked? That word is erum. And they are the same etymological structure. So in other words, someone's lied to you, Adam. Someone's told you that you're clever enough to be conscious enough outside of
this harmony, this collective.
That's it. And that's the serpent, right?
Yeah,
And so that's what I was trying to help people understand is like, it's the way we view ourselves is like, I'm not good enough for God. I'm not an image bearer of God. I'm broken, not beloved. And all of these things. And religion has done, like, you got to give credit where credit is due. They have done a great job at being freaking awful on helping people stay situated in their ruptured reality.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is now the control is not just on your own. You're being controlled by an external expectation, which is no different than anything else, whether it's my mom wanting me to become a cardiothoracic surgeon or your dad wanting you to be this or that. Like that's no different than the church saying you need to be perfect. You need to try harder and pray more. And then in that causes transformation. No, that may, I don't think there's anything wrong with praying more or giving more to the church or attending church or getting involved. But those things in and of themselves are not transformative. They are part of a collective that leads to the transformative aspect of when I awaken to the truth that I am loved, I am accepted exactly as I am.
And that's the profundity in simplicity.
That's it. That's absolutely right.
The mystics talk about a second naivete.
Yes.
Because they return to something, they go through this very complex understanding of reality and then arrive at love.
That's beautiful.
That's the second naivete.
Dude, the mystics are on it.
Yeah.
Like, so one of the things, like, think about this. Adam, Eve, metaphorically, sin. They sew fig leaves to cover, and then they hide.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the mystics, I love the way, but God goes, I know where you're at. You can't hide from me when I'm pursuing you. You cannot hide from me when I'm pursuing you. And the same could be said of God. God cannot hide when I'm pursuing him. Oh. I will see him everywhere. I will see him in all things.
Well said.
When we were at our little Mingle Monday, I knew that, I hope he's watching, Daniel Crane, my good buddy, him and his wife Abby just had a little baby boy, Bennett. And they said they were coming. Dude, I could not wait to hold that baby. And when they showed up, I went, oh man, God's here.
Yeah.
God's here.
Yeah.
And it's not heretical that I'm saying, oh, that baby's God. I was like, no, man, I get to see God in this brand new child.
Yes.
And that's the thing. We can't hide from God because he's constantly pursuing us.
Yeah.
And even though God is hidden, he's only hidden from the eyes of those who are not pursuant of actually wanting to see. And it's funny that seeing is better than knowing.
Yes.
And I said it last week, the more I know, it seems the less I see. Mm-hmm. And so we live in the tension between seeing and knowing.
Yeah, and don't get too literal about that.
That's right.
You're using, this is kind of rhetorical, right?
That's right. It's a rhetorical function,
But what's meant by that is there is a difference between a knowing that is connected.
Yes. Yeah.
And a knowing that isn't.
That's right on. That's it, dude.
Yeah.
That's it. And so
try this. You have dogs.
I do.
Okay. Now, maybe this will work for you. Maybe it won't. I see God when I get home and my dogs treat me like a rock star, right? And I will very often say, my sister-in-law heard me say this the other day. She said, "What did you say?" I said, Ollie was jumping up on me, and he's like crying. He's so elated to see me, right? I think I'd gone out to the store or something. It was not long, you know.
Gone just long enough.
And I said, "Thanks for loving me, Lord." And it's not that I see Ollie as my newfound God. I'm going to make a golden Ollie and worship it. It's that I see God in Ollie.
Yeah.
You know?
That's it.
And like you said, God cannot hide when you're pursuing him.
No.
The challenge is to pursue him.
That's right.
Because what you're going to see when Jesus said, those who enter the light, those who live by the truth, come into the light. So that it may be seen. This is a difficult passage to translate. I talked with Larry years ago about this. So that it may be seen that all is in God, or God is in all.
Welcome to the truth.
Welcome to the truth.
Welcome to the truth.
Yeah, man.
And that should.
And so you're going to see things that bug you, right? You're going to see things about yourself that you don't like and that you want to make fig leaves for, right?
That's right.
Or you want to wrap it up in the grave clothes and pretend it's dead.
Yeah, that's right. Tuck it away in the.
Yeah.
Tuck it away.
Stick it in the tomb. Yeah.
Yeah. It stinks.
But
what you hide will not heal.
What you hide will not heal. I love that too.
That's exactly what it is, man. And the more we hide, the less we become.
Yeah.
The more we cover, the less we become.
How did Jung say that? Whatever remains unconscious will direct your life, but you'll just call it fate.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So bring it into the light.
That's exactly right.
Have the courage to bring it into the light. And what you do when you exercise that courage, right? You give God the opportunity to show his faithfulness.
Yeah.
That he really is there. But as long as you still want to hide in your fig leaves, that opportunity passes until the next one.
That's right.
Because he's relentless.
That's right.
But
yeah, man.
Anyway, I love this series. I love the last two sermons. I think they're among your best for sure.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
I appreciate what you bring here.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about we'll see how it goes. I got to start writing, but this last final piece is authentic intimacy, and what does that pursuit look like when I don't want to say no longer pursuing, but when I'm in that constant flow and flood of intimacy with God and with community.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Yeah.
Should be good.
I'm sure it will be.
Thanks, brother.
Love you.